Welcome in, everybody, to Better Advertising with Better AMS. I am your host, Justin Knuckles, and today I am seated alongside Alicia Long. And for our Shark Tank fans and lovers out there, she came from the Shark Tank world of launching her brand with Nutter, did not make a partnership deal there, however, has had great success in building her e-commerce brand alongside her husband, and today is in the process of launching her new venture, New Ecomm Era. So I wanted to sit alongside Alicia today to learn a little bit more about that. So Alicia, welcome in. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience with Nutter, Shark Tank, and more specifically, the new venture we're going forward with.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Justin. I'm very, very excited to, have this podcast because over the last 2 years, I've built a brand. Nutter, consumer tech company. It's kind of like Nespresso, but for your daily plant-based milk consumption. So if you saw us on season 14, we were on Shark Tank, and that was a great experience, talking with the sharks, and it was literally terrifying, like in the Shark Tank. So a lot of people asked me about my Shark Tank experience, and I always said, that was my greatest experience of all. As a business owner, because you are getting grilled by all these really savvy business owners, right? And some of them, they're a billionaire. And I look up to them. And I thought, that experience really humbled me as an entrepreneur and really think about where the company should be going. But that we actually shot in July of 2022, and we aired in January. So half a year forward. So I was this teeny tiny entrepreneur back then with just a little over $1 million in revenue. But fast forward, now we're in over $11 million just within 6 months after that. So I think there's a lot that we've learned, especially after the Shark Tank air, and we got some great exposure. Costco reached out to us, Target reached out to us after the show. So I think it was a win-win situation. We learned, we gained experience, and also, hopefully it was great entertainment for a lot of people. So basically, fast forward, now I'm still, a CEO and co-founder of Nutter, and right now we are, so we have been traditionally doing a lot of like Facebook advertising, a lot of performance marketing and influencer marketing. What I have realized is that in this era of, just pay your way through Facebook, pay your way to on Google, that kind of era is over, because you can't just solely focus on Facebook advertising, solely focus on one channel. You have to be omni-channel. So not only just on performance marketing, not only just on advertising side, but also think about organic, right? Because nowadays, if you think about the consumer behavior, when you're scrolling on TikTok and you stop and then you look at something you're really interested in, you're like, ooh, I want it. But do you purchase right away, or you actually will zoom out and you log out of TikTok and you go to Amazon, you purchase that, you're like, Amazon, or TikTok made me do it again, or people say TikTok does it again or something like that. And that's kind of like, the trend, right? And then when I talk to a lot of people, me, myself included, I bought just so many. The husband's like, why do you have more Amazon boxes? And I saw it on TikTok, oh my God. And then that's just like a normal, consumer behavior, right? But if you think about it, why is it so much more effective? Because traditionally on, Google, what you see is like a still image, right? And then you see Facebook is like either a still image or some really curated ad content. And then people just usually just know it's sponsored ads, just scroll through. And then now we see on TikTok is historically an entertaining platform. And people are on there. They are not intentionally to buy. They are there to be entertained in whatever community that they're in. Say if they are coffee lovers and they're just on there just looking at tons of how do baristas make coffee. Have you seen those really pretty coffee drinks that people just do ASMR? Yeah. That's all they watch. And so that's a community, right? And let's say if you're a dog owner and all you watch is dog videos. If you're a plant owner, all you watch, literally, I do that all the time. It's just, I watch how to care for plants. But then if there's a really cool product popped up and an influencer said, oh, I use this thermometer and it's like moisturizer and helps you water automatically. And I was just like, wait, it exists? And oh my God. And I better like run to Amazon to buy it. So that's kind of like the new e-commerce era that I was referring to. And I realized that for our own company, we were just dumping hundreds and thousands of dollars in ads. Although initially the channel efficiency was like 3 ROAS and was pretty good. But then over time, when there's more players in the space of running Facebook advertising, Google advertising, it gets more and more expensive. CAC, customer acquisition cost, gets more and more expensive. So you have to be able to think about a way, not saying that no longer running ads on Facebook and Google, but think about omni-channel of how you can expand your lead capture, expand the traffic into TikTok, then leverage TikTok and Instagram organically to be able to capture more leads, because you got to fix the leaking bucket, before you dump more your money into the top of the funnel. So I talk about it all the time. It's just like the marketing is like a funnel, right? And then there's the top, traffic goes down, and you have to think about how do you convert those people, whether you do a transaction on Amazon or whether you capture their email and then you convert them that way. Now there's a thing, it's called TikTok Shop. So TikTok Shop is very different than Instagram Shop or Facebook Shop. The reason for that is because it's all in channel. They complete all the transaction within TikTok. What that means is that there's higher conversion because you don't have to lead to your website or Shopify or Amazon in order to complete the transaction. So that's another area that we wanted to kind of get ahead of the curve and thinking, okay, how can we capitalize on that? But yeah, there's many ways that we can go about TikTok, how to monetize as business owners. But and then that's what my podcast. Actually, I'm just starting out, and it's called New E-commerce Era. Talk about how do we do TikTok short videos, TikTok live, TikTok shop. So then we create a workflow for our own business to be able to show we have 30 interns, literally just do all their job is TikTok live 24/7. And it may sound bad, but they love it because it's like a newer version of QVC. They are on camera. They're like, hey, check out this chocolate drink. And they're talking to their bestie. And because it's a more interactive way to communicate with consumers, it's no longer I'll just look at the picture of this product and then we go, oh, that looks good. Let me turn 360 and see if I like it. It's like the all, full on experience. So I think we just have to rethink about e-commerce as a business owners.
Yeah, I love your approach to this omni-channel idea. We hear most sellers talk about omni-channel purely in the distribution standpoint. Like I sell on Amazon and Walmart and Target, but rarely do we hear marketers talk about the omni-channel approach. I mean, the customer journey is across, every channel that we can touch on. So showing people something on TikTok via UGC, I think, is so much differentiated than everybody who's bidding for the top of Facebook ads or Google ads or Amazon ads. What are you doing outside of that to differentiate your brand and your presence? And I think a lot of brands we've talked to, a few before here on the podcast, starting to get into TikTok. And I think that's what really helps shine a light on your other ads to help drive performance there. So Absolutely. It's really a complementary. They benefit each other. So if you're running anything just by itself, you're competing against every other brand that's paying just those same, cost per clicks, like you said, but they're not doing anything else to differentiate their brand and their product and, be something that sets apart from the competition. So UGC, I think, is massive. So how have you guys gone about getting, not just your interns and your internal team to create such a massive TikTok presence, but how do you guys go about connecting with your consumers and building that, user generated content?
I love that question because what I'm about to say is going to blow your mind because I blow everybody's mind when I talk about this because nobody's doing that. So basically I have so we are creating about 15 TikTok accounts based on 15 different demographics. So we took a look at our data from the last 2 years, and then we say, okay, we have 18 to 25-year-olds female, we have 25 to 35-year-olds female, and 35 to 44. And then there's female and male, there's like different geographic locations, and there's different interests, whether they're in food and drinks or health and wellness or fitness or coffee. They're different buckets. And we're like, how do we identify them and put them all in just one account? And because TikTok algorithm is really interesting, right? Because it's instead of people looking for product on Instagram or Amazon, it's product looking for people. How that works is that basically, let's say if you sell coffee gadgets, and of course, you want to target coffee lovers, right? But if you also, on your free time, consume content in cat videos, TikTok is going to be confused, and they're going to be like, wait a minute, so should I like promote it to cat lovers or should I like promote it to coffee lovers? They're probably going to split their traffic in half. Better yet, some people just like use their TikTok for their own personal, purpose. And then they just like watch whatever random videos. And that's what happens is that like your traffic is not targeted. And you are literally TikTok's distributing your content to literally anybody. That's the reason why content don't go viral. And so what we want to do is that I'm very specific about labeling. What that means is that when you first create a TikTok account, don't even think about posting video. You just train the heck out of the algorithm and say, I'm a coffee lover. I'm a coffee lover. I only drink coffee and I only want to consume that content. And then after 3 to 5 days, and then TikTok's going to be like, oh, guess what? This is a coffee account. And now I'm going to directly push that content in this particular community. And then when you post a video, magic happens. My first video has like 300 views, literally first video.
Wow.
And then boom, just like after just a couple of days I just have hundreds of thousands of views because they are very targeted, specific in that niche. And then, so I know what content to create. We have a channel specifically just do ASMR, crazy. And then because you only like targeted those people who are like very excited about sensory, right? And then, so we have a channel specifically just for fitness. I literally have interns like shooting video content in their gym, like just doing that and then shake their, protein shake. And then that's all they do. They just catch trends in that particular community. And that's all they do. They use CapCut for the template, and then they just pump whatever content in that particular community. So that is how you get targeted. And then for TikTok to be able to promote to the right audience.
That is so fascinating. So to go back to what you had just said, when you create a new TikTok account for a very, very specific demographic, you're going to consume content specific to that demographic for the first 3 to 5 days to train the algorithm that this account is meant to only consume and fit in this type of content vertical. And then at that point, the second you post a video, it begins to reach that audience and start to go viral. That's what I'm understanding.
Consistently.
Yeah.
You have to be able to post consistently. Now, that's a kicker, right? So just like training your body, and if you're not consistent, you're not going to see the result. So what I do is that I actually plan out my content. So way ahead of the time. So I have like a whole month of, calendar. And then I just literally, it takes me about 10 minutes to think about like, I go by like 9x6 like method, and that I teach about like in my course. But basically you just think about like 9 pain points of your 6 groups of people, 9 pain points of the 6 groups of people. And then obviously you have 54 ideas for all of your audience. And then you sit down and you record, and then maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes of your content within like each pain point. And then you basically can use what is it called? The Opus clip. It is an AI tool, and then it turns a long form video into 10 different short clips. It's suitable for Reels, for TikTok. And then you just like upload a 20-minute. Yeah, and then just automatically find clips, and that's like gold, right? Golden nuggets, and then you just upload it, and then you and then put a caption, like really attention grabbing caption, and boom, boom, boom. Like after you're done with that, and then it's like I have 10 days of content. So I literally only need to do for each account. Just need to do it like 3 times, and then I have content every single day.
These are incredible hacks and tricks for any content marketer out there to simplify and make your workflow easier. This is great. Question for you. Are you running any ads, paid ads on TikTok specifically with these shorts and videos you guys are creating? Or is it just purely organic?
Purely organic. We spend $0 on TikTok because, we spend ad dollars on other channels like Amazon as well as Google. So that what I say, it's called what we call a bucket, basically top bottom of the funnel, because people don't go to Amazon just like randomly and search for plant-based milk. They see our, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and then just say, oh, I didn't know you can make plant-based milk. Wait, let me check it out. And then they go to Amazon and then they literally just, purchase from there. And then because it's fast shipping and Prime, right? And then so that's what we do. And of course, we do a little bit of advertising, but I would say probably 40% is performance marketing, which is ads, and then 60% organic through organic social as well as influencer marketing.
Very interesting. And then curious, are a lot of that content crossed over to then Instagram and other social platforms as well? It's multi-purpose, correct?
Oh, for sure. And then you can use tools like Hootsuite or there's tons of them out there. And then you can use basically repurpose the content. Like if it's vertical, and then we'll just repurpose it on YouTube Short and Reels and as well as TikTok. And then so basically there will be, because obviously for different channels, you have to make some tweaks depending on the caption and hashtag, whatnot. But you just have to reuse them. Yeah, we reuse the heck out of them. We have a lot of UGC content. We have a lot of brand ambassadors. We have 60,000 existing customers. And then we just, send them an email and be like, hey, you want to earn some money? Like if you wanted to promote about our machine, and then here's a referral. So before you think about like even do advertising, like I think it's really like mistakes that I made is that we kind of jump ahead and then we spend tons of money on advertising without realizing we need a marketing roadmap before you spend more money. So now we basically say, hey, we need to fix the leaky bucket before we dump more money into advertising. So that's what I would encourage all the sellers out there to do, is that think about what channels you want to be on, right? Channels in particular is not like, for example, let's say you don't have to touch all the channels. You don't have to touch, like, we're not on Snapchat just because that's not our demographics and then has the purchasing power necessarily, or they don't really care, about a $200 machine. So, we know who our demographics are. So they're primarily on Instagram and TikTok, right? So, and then we just double down our effort into these two channels, and basically they're all the same format. So we just use the same content for different channels, and we even use it on Pinterest because 70% of our target market is female. So I would highly encourage to think about repurposing your content across different channels.
And I love that note you made about the marketing roadmap. A lot of times, I'm not saying many sellers, but we've seen sellers, want to try to fix problems with advertising, and you spend a lot more there, and it only exasperates the problem and highlights it more intense. And, a lot of sellers want to say, was advertising the problem? Did we have problems already? So tightening up, what you're doing before you start dumping money into ads, I think is a great takeaway there. Second question here regarding all this UGC and video content is, are there any plans to start leaning into those audiences and building content specifically for Prime Day, probably just about a month ahead? I know Amazon hasn't announced anything, but as we're an Amazon-focused company here, we're looking ahead to Prime Day. Are you guys going to use TikTok at all for that?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Fun fact, I used to work at Amazon advertising. So I kind of...
Small world.
Yeah, it's obviously it's very apparent. Like they always do something big, and then it's usually around like mid July. So just be ready regardless. And then so I think when it comes to omnichannel, last year we did I forgot exactly what we did. I think we did like $300,000 in a day or something. And then but that was not just purely through Amazon alone, right? So it's getting our social, our SMS, our email, all ready to, schedule the post way ahead of the time. And we lead them into, hey, like, Prime Day is right around the corner, check it out. And then today is like B-Day. And then on social, blast it out, text message, email, text message, just drive the traffic all to Amazon. And then that we had a equally amount of sales amount compared to Black Friday.
That's amazing. If you have those quote unquote free touch points with your audience already and can drive that traffic, that's huge versus Prime Day where everyone's paying for top of search placements. So that is fantastic. The question I have is, have you guys utilized post or attribution at all? More so the attribution links within Amazon, given how much external traffic you are driving. I would say I don't expect so, just given you guys aren't, paying for ads. It's all purely organic traffic you're driving. But have you guys used the attribution links at all to see, hey, which videos or which audience is specifically the best for driving traffic?
I will have to say I'm new to that. What I am knowledgeable of is basically the branded and non-branded, right? And then those are the two kinds of ads that we're running. I've never heard about attribution link because we have a Amazon agency handles all of the ads. So I would say we're more focused on the top of the funnel, but I'm curious to see what the attribution link is about.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in the past that have driven traffic via external social channels have attached attribution links from Amazon that you can create to say, if I'm running ads or even just running organic content traffic, I want to know which posts or, in your case, which TikTok account
Gotcha.
is really doing the best at driving traffic.
Yeah.
And so I haven't heard anybody specifically utilize it with TikTok. I've heard it, with some offsite advertising platforms, but not specifically with TikTok yet. So I was curious if you were utilizing that. So that may be still to come.
Yeah, I think in some sense, Amazon is competing with Shopify, right? So Shopify really wanted to push that for TikTok. And then so everyone knows that Amazon, also takes a fee. So between Shopify and Amazon, it's kind of like, I'd rather to go with Shopify because the fee is lower. So that's what we did. But I think Amazon affiliates is one gray area if you're not on the TikTok shop yet, because TikTok shop is not available for most of the sellers in the US just yet. We're one of the 17 brands in the pilot. But, I think for now, you can still have your affiliates, which is brand ambassadors, to be able to use Amazon affiliate link to go directly to your shop. So I don't know how much, your sellers have been utilizing that, but I think it's a great way to leverage influencer marketing to be able to drive traffic to your Amazon store.
Absolutely. It's all about that social proof, ratings, reviews, user generated content. It all comes back to the same idea that, we trust other people who have used the products or recommend the products rather than the brand paying for that sponsored placement at the top of search. So seems to be the trend over, this whole episode. But it's certainly true, at least for me as a consumer. I certainly, will trust or try a product much faster if I've, been recommended it, seen it on multiple social channels as well. So I love that message. Question for you on this new Ecomm era venture we are starting out on. What can people, expect from you going forward in terms of, what new Ecomm era will be out to create, if they can reach out to you, any and all of that?
Yeah, thank you. So my personal passion of mine is being able to help female entrepreneur, minority entrepreneur, people who started with very little money. And then because I came from, no money. And I basically I was working 2 full-time jobs while being pregnant to be able to fund this business. And so starting out was just very, very difficult. And I wish that there was somebody there to be able to give me proper advice who has been there before. So I really wanted to be able to contribute my knowledge to small business owners and people who are just starting out. Or if you, like me, are female entrepreneur and minority, that you don't feel like sometimes you're against the world. But I'm here. I want to be able to help. And I started to have some, small business owners came to me just asking a lot of great questions. And I was like, man, I wish I could just get this information out to a lot of people because a lot of people can benefit from it. So it's kind of like an aggregation of my knowledge in the last 2 years and how we took, Nutter from non-existent to, over $11 million now. And really to try to avoid a lot of costly mistakes. And then also how to be more efficient with your advertising. So, so with my course, actually, I a little bit different than yours. I don't focus on advertising. I focus on organic, but I think it's both are very important. So I think for my course, what you can expect is more a new trend and tactics and how to play on the top of the funnel, basically TikTok, the UGC content, the influencer marketing, and how do you basically, because when we first started out, we don't have a lot of money. So how do you start out with no money and then to be able to, do well on TikTok and then to be able to then later on be profitable so you have more money that you can reinvest in advertising.
That is amazing. You're building a community of people who are building businesses today and are facing very different challenges today than, like you said, just a couple of years ago when it was a lot cheaper to just run ads and see success. So I love that. So anybody that is, looking to connect with like-minded business owners, looking to, learn a little bit more about the organic side, please reach out to Alicia Long and connect with New Ecomm Era. You also have a podcast as well. We will throw that link in the description here. But what is the name for anybody searching it on their Spotify and Apple Music? What is the name for that podcast?
Yeah, it's just called New Ecomm Era, and very straightforward. And so I have you can find me on Instagram and TikTok, official Alicia Long, and then you can reach out, DM me, and I have a email address is linked on my bio, and alicia@newecomera.com.
And we'll put all that information in the description. You guys can reach out. But thank you so much, Alicia, for being here today. Appreciate all the talks on TikTok. I don't get enough of that. I need to invest a bit more time and knowledge into that myself, but I appreciate all your expertise here today.
Anytime. And besides that, actually, I'm working on a book for TikTok live sales. So how do you drive sales on TikTok live? So I'm actually finishing that book and it's coming out in the next few weeks. So I'll be sure to send you a copy when that book comes out.
That is amazing. A business owner, a Shark Tank guest, and now a published author. I don't know where you're going to stop.
Thank you for your
That's
kind
amazing.
words.
Well, thank you again so much, Alicia. We will have to chat again at a later time, but thank you so much and enjoy your Friday.
Thank you. You as well. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.